Hi there everyone, this is Nancy from Sew Euphoria. And previously you saw that I got on one of my finds from Waterfront Mission was this template on windows, and so I decided that we would do a windows thing, because I like to, if I get something, I like to try and go ahead and make something and figure out what I'm going to do with it. So that is the template. And what I am going to do, and this is what I made out of it, let's see if I can get a little more light in here, is the little window with the flowers, and then all of the windows are pop-ups, and the person that this is going to loves dragonflies and stuff, so it has little dragonflies in the windows, but you can put whatever you want into the little pop-out windows. But that's what we're going to be working on today. Okay, I'm back. Let's go through a list of things that we're going to need. Now, I'm using the template, but what I will do is on my Sew Euphoria site and Facebook, the Facebook page, just join the Facebook page and I will put a made template for you guys on there for the window so that you'll have it to work with. All I suggest is that when you get this and download it, is cut out all the way around here for your template, and then draw for your final one, and then we'll leave the extension for the window to open. Okay, I'm back again. And so what you're going to need is the template that you finally make. You're going to need some Mod Podge. I'm going to be using a couple of paints. I'm going to be using Simply Acrylic Yellow Ochre, and I'm going to be using Golden Teal. You're also going to be needing some tacky glue. Nope, we won't need that today. I'm also going to be using my Posca pen. It's a PC 3.00, I think is what it is, my Posca pen. You're going to need some book pages, and you're going to need some gesso. And I've already gotten some of my pages torn up, and so now let's get going. And so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to be using my X-Acto knife, or this isn't X-Acto, but it's one of those little knives anyway. And I'm going to be using a ruler. Now I'm going to have it my windows opening this way, and so they're going to be opening to the left. So I do not want to cut any of these lines here on the left. What I want to do is I can come along and cut these top lines. And I do have a cutting mat up underneath me to help, because you don't want to use this knife on your regular table because it will damage it. And this is a self-healing mat. Be very careful, very slow with this. This thing will cut your finger. I'm sorry, but I have my puppies in with me today, both Jin and Merlin. It's very, very hot out there today, so it's too hot for them to be out. Alright, so now what you're going to do is go back and see, and these have not cut enough, but now I can kind of follow along my line. And generally it's these corners, because this has a rounded corner. So when you're cutting it with the ruler, you don't quite get it. So you just need to go back and get those little corners. And it's a trial and error. Keep working at it. You'll see it's starting to lift up. This is a little labor intensive, but once you get going around, there we go. And then you'll get to one where it can fold. Now, I'm not going to fold it back yet. I'll show you a trick when you're going to fold it back, how to get a straighter cut. Sorry, I'm being distracted by my puppies. They are wanting to do outside play inside. So there's two. Now, do you have to use this top window on here? No. This is yours. I'm only here for, to inspire you guys, to show you possibilities that are out there. You can do, this is your project. You can do whatever you want with it. Mine is just to kind of show you the technique, how to get to where maybe you want to go, and then you just go away with it. And that one I got a little short. Those things happen. And you don't really want to pull this. You do want to cut it because it will. Alright, so now we've gotten those cut. And now we're going to do this. I am just going to do around this top edge. And there we go. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and I'm going to put it right up against that line that I've got drawn at the bottom. And then and then crease it down really well. And now you've got a nice straight fold for your window. Same thing with these. And we're back again, just in case there's a little black mark. Now we're just going to go to that line again, put a sharp crease in it. Same thing with this one, to that line, put a sharp crease in it. And line it up, sharp crease, line it up, sharp crease. All right, now I'm gonna tuck these under, and see, this way I'll have my lines on the back to retrace it once we do with our Mod Podge and we put our pages on here. Let me get a sheet to put up under this. We're going to put my gluey pages under here, and we're going to use our handy dandy brush, and I have a bucket of scraps that we're going to use for this. And I want to cover both the shutter doors and the windows. So to give, and all we're doing this for is to give it more strength. You probably could cut 2 of these out with 2 cardstocks and glue them together if you wanted to, and then cut them. You could put this on and then trace your windows and put them on there. Now, I don't mind a straight edge if it's hanging off. And now this will tell your personality. Who are you? Are you a person who loves straight lines and all of these have to be equal? Or are you like me? I like mine whichever direction my inspiration tells me to put them. And I am tearing these to get rid of that sharp edge. And to me, this is the most relaxing thing. I don't know what it is about tearing paper and gluing it down. And if you're tearing it, I just like that rippled edge. A little tag along there. Oh, we got about 1 more spot to go. Now on the camera you probably can't see it, but through the paint you could see the paper kind of shining through. And this one will probably have lots of stop and goes because you have to stop and let it. And then we'll not see the back, so I'm not concerned if the paper's there. But I am concerned that one spot's not covered. Alright, so now we're just going to let that dry. Take all our little scraps. If a clean desk is for you, you may not want to watch me, because my desk, when I'm in the middle of, it's pretty good when I start these videos, but when I'm working by myself, whew, it is total mess. Alright, so we have that. And now, let's see if that spots. And what I'm going to go back to is my cutting board. Get rid of the glue paper, and I'm going to come over here, even though this is not completely dry. I'm going to go to my gesso, for this. And that's just a pullback. The book print, so that it's not, and it gives it another layer of goodness. All right, we'll let this dry and I'll be right back. Hi, back again. This is dry, so now we can go ahead and trim it back to where it was. I can figure out how to open this. I had another one, but it, for some reason, doesn't want to hold together. And I can see these lines. I don't know if you can see them in the camera, but I can pretty well see. I may be off a little bit, but and now we're only cutting through just that paper pages. And it's caught right there at the corner. And you do want these pages to be dry before you start cutting them. This, I probably could have waited a few minutes more, but I wanted to get this video done. Sometimes this ketchup. If you cut past it a little bit, as long as, because we can always patch it with paper. If it does break in some spot, there's always a way to fix stuff. And that's going to go a little bit more. One, two, three, and four. So now all we have is this half moon window. And now let's get all of them to bend along that line again. And make that one a little bit longer. Alright, so now all our windows Close up your things so you don't cut yourself. And now we're just going to trim off the excess paper pages. Hopefully this time we won't have any interruptions. I'm sorry earlier between my husband and the dogs, and I do have one kitty too. She's wonderful. She loves to be outside and comes inside to eat and say hello, and then she's back out on her world again. And she's almost 19 years old. So alright, so now we have our window. So now we're going to go to the painting phase. And I've got my water, my brush, but I do want a smaller brush for this. This one will work. And what I'm using is just a I want to say it's a 4. And this is a filbert brush, but it'll fit right in between those lines right there. So we're good with that. We got our water, we've got a paper towel, we've got our baby wipe as always. Now this is well used and well loved. I use these over and over and over and over again till I can't use them anymore. And this is just a meat tray, but they sell them in packages so that it's not actually like, it's not the actual meat tray, it's just in the shape of the meat tray. And I'm going to do this as a dry brush. And I decided I was going to paint the windows in a light blue. And I still may go back on that one that you've seen and do a little bit lighter blue. You don't need much, just a tiny little bit to cover all this. And this is the golden paints, which I love. They're fluid acrylics. They're like the consistency of watercolor, but they're much, much stronger paints. Now this one is kind of opaque. The one I used on the last one, the one I showed you, I used more of a translucent type paint. So it did show more of the Alright, wash off our brush. Next thing we're going to is our yellow ochre. And I'm just going to put a small amount of this out. I'm just going to cover this with a yellow ochre. Oh, I didn't paint our big window. And I'm using this paint straight. I'm not using any water in it or any other. Now you could add little hinges on there on the windows. We could do so many kinds of things. I think I may add some little items on here, but I think I'm just going to draw them and not worry about finding something else. One corner. I just want to make sure I kind of have everything covered. All right, let's go back to the blue. And paint this window. Do you guys like to do this kind of stuff with music or without music? I find I love to craft in quiet. Some people like music. I just like the simplicity. Even when I'm sewing, I just like the simplicity and the sound of the machine. Well, could use a little bit. A little bit extra right there. And a touch of the blue right there. Okay, so we've got our window done. And we've got to give this a second to dry. Won't take long. And then we'll go to our next step. And it's got a pretty good thickness to it. I mean, we're going to be putting it and gluing it down to a page, so I'm not so worried about the thickness of it, but I do want enough that if they're playing with the windows, they're not just going to break. They'll be good, pretty good and solid. Okay. I think we're done with that for now. All right, now this Posca pen, I found you really have to make sure your paint is dry before it goes in. But what I think I'm going to do while we're sitting here, I'm going to take a little bit of cardstock and I'm going to cut some of this off, and I think I'm going to try and make some little hinges. Two, four, 6, 8. All right. I think what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to give it a little bit of sits there. And if it pushes there and opens, we have our little hinge. And actually that one's already stuck on there. Alright, so we're just going to tip off the ends. And we're going to put it back just a hair. Hold it, ramp it up. And I'm going to go ahead and glue these, and I think I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. I wasn't sure if we were going to use it, but yes we are. How did I do that? I got glue on both sides. These little hinges will also help strengthen that right there. I'm going to turn this up and I'll be back when I'm done with the hinges. Okay, and we're back. We are going to be using some golden raw umber to kind of mark around the outsides and to put a little bit on our, and I've switched to a, I think maybe this is all worn, I've had it for years. I think it's like a 1 round, and we're going to use that, but I decided I was going to do my hinges. And you can do as much or as little detail. You could just do the windows and be happy. Or you can just be in a painting mood and decide, oh, I want to make these pretty. Her. Well, we're back and battery's charged, and we've got the little latches on there, and I'm gonna try, I don't know, I'm using some raw umber, and I'm just gonna go around outside, but I think I'm gonna go to my ink. And let's see how our ink does on the sides. Yeah, I do like that better. Alright, now we're going to take this and bend it back just so I can get some of this there. And I'll get that back, we might as well try and get some around this top windowsill. Sometimes you just gotta rub it with your finger. There's one corner I don't like right there. Okay, so now all our backs are done. We don't need to do the back because we're not going to see it. But we are going to see the inside of this one. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So now we have our windows all done. And I think I've got a little bit of Basics unbleached titanium. That was a little more than I needed. I'm going to mix some of that up. Just a little bit. I want to go a little bit darker. Now, if this was made of slats, nope, still want it darker. Alright, so now we've got slats for our windows. Okay, so now we have our slats for the doors, but if you got slats on the front, if you want it to look real, like I said, you can play with these things, you can do whatever you want to them. I just am in a painting mood today, so and we'll do some more. And now there's slats going that way. There's got to be slats going that way. And one more. All right. So now we have all these. The only thing I think we need is, if they're going to have that, it's going to have some kind of a little latch on it. So I think we need to paint in a latch. Robocalls. Are y'all so tired of robocalls? All right, and there we have it. Trying to get all these to kind of fit under there so that you guys can see. There's our window, and then we would just take that, put it on our page, and put some sort of a thing. Like on this one I put little dragonflies under each one, and you can make this personally yours, whatever you'd like into it. But that is that. Now I was going to show you our next video. The other one of these things that I got, and if I can find it, was diamonds. And I guess the quilter in me kind of came out with this one for the diamonds, because I thought, well, what can I do with these? And so this is one of the things, and this is going to be a pocket. And then I thought, well, how about some bling for Christmas? And so these are some little ornaments that I made up. And so our next video is going to be on how to make diamond pockets and how to make that Christmas ornament. And I will also include this on my Sew Euphoria page so that you'll have the little printout so you can make them yourself. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to craft, craft, craft.